très important. Et toujours aussi, ça me fait un énorme plaisir de voir que des jeunes partagent un savoir-faire technologique hyper important. Donc pour moi, je tiens à remercier les organisateurs GDG, Women Tech Makers, et aussi un remerciement très particulier à IWD23. Voilà. Merci infiniment.
والبروغرام اللي الاخر اللي كان مع الامباسادورز قبل انهم يديروا التعليم شي يديروا الانترنت يعني تشد السنه باش نعرفوا.
Hello everyone, I will be speaking in English so that Carlos can follow up with us. Hello everyone, welcome with us. I am Sana, and I am a Women Tech Makers ambassador. Well, I don't know if you have an idea of about the program, Women Tech Makers. No? Okay. Okay. It is a program just like GDG, but it's more for women in tech. And actually, Google supports or more like encourages women in technology also. So, for members at Women Tech Maker can actually. Sorry, I just haven't prepared a speech. Too bad. Anyways, I just was in another event yesterday. I'm trying to survive. Okay, so as I said, Women Tech Makers Ambassador, Women Tech Makers is a program of Google also that Google started to support women in technology. And today we are super happy to have with us. Okay, we are super happy to have with us ambassadors of Women Tech Makers. They are Women Tech Makers members, but who are, let's say, a bit advanced, or more like they were recognized by Google as ambassadors, and they actually work towards impacting women in technology and helping communities share knowledge. So we have today with us some really special Women Tech Maker ambassadors. Let's invite them to the stage. Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. We have some other Women Tech Makers ambassadors with us, who will be with us today also, but they're still on the road. We're in Casablanca, it's pretty common. So thank you so much, girls, for coming. Hi! Yes, you're on time. On stage, please. Jihad also. See, I love my girls. On the stage. Thank you. Okay, so these are the Women Tech Makers that we have. Women Tech Makers Ambassador. Oh, that's so weird. Women Tech Makers Ambassador. I need a coffee. Women Tech Makers Ambassadors that are present with us today. I will give them a couple of seconds to present themselves and actually give us, let's say, one lesson they learned from being a Women Tech Maker Ambassador. I guess you didn't prepare it. Sorry. All right, it's okay. Just improvise. So yeah, you can start.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Thank you very much, Sana. I see that you're a little tired, but we really appreciate to see you here today and to present all of us. I don't know what I have to say, but let me introduce myself first. I'm Bushra Abiyad. I work as a cyber defense engineer at Arsago, Morocco. I have been ambassador since 2020, and it was such a huge honor to me because I believe that I present women in tech and women in general, because it's not easy to find and to create a profile, to create, as we can say, maybe a brand of ourselves. And this is amazing because I have been in this kind of programs, and I just want to thank myself because I had to take the first step and join this kind of programs, give up some time to attend this kind of events, and this is very nice. And I encourage women to do the same, maybe whatever they find interesting. I don't know what
I didn't prepare the speech too, but sorry. Okay. I didn't brief them. First of all, thank you so much for the course you're doing. Sorry. So let me introduce myself first. So I am an Chef. I am a Scrum Master and Data Engineer at a startup here called IQ. So I was in Women Technical Ambassador since 2021, and I can say that the lesson I learned from this program or from all the programs that are done by Google is that alone we go fast, it's a fact, but together we go very far. So I learned from these amazing ladies here. Maybe I will learn from you, all the amazing ladies there, and the amazing men also. So you don't do discrimination. I can say that I hope that every woman here gonna be a woman tech maker, ambassador in next session, maybe in next opportunities, and I would love to see men and women in such communities, preparing, presenting their speech also, and helping the community.
Thank you. Hello everyone, and thank you Sana for saying that nothing to prepare. Don't worry, nothing to prepare. Okay. So hello, it's Safa Zaki, and I'm working at Capgemini Engineering, and I was a GDG organizer too, and I'm a WTM ambassador, and so from me what I learned the most in as being an ambassador is like to hustle and to work for the thing that you want to be, because at first when I applied to the ambassador program, I was rejected. So I was, I was rejected. I don't know why they told me like you're not a GDG organizer. And I reapplied again, and I worked for it and tried to achieve it. And yeah, this is me. I'm an ambassador now. And since we are like the event theme, this event theme is there should be like I tell you to dare to be yourself, try to be yourself and do whatever you want, and the thing and the people like you will attract the thing and the people that's compatible with your energy and your mindset. There should be challenges, so try new things, get out of your comfort zone, and the magic will happen. And also, yeah, there should be to be whatever you want, and like if you want it, you will achieve it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
اوكي السلام عليكم. بعدا نرحب بكم، مرحبا بكم في الانترناشونال كونفرنس، والله يكبر بكم كيما جيتوا باش تشاركوا معنا هذا الاحتفال هذا. دونك بنقدم لكم نعطيك ما كيعرفنيش ولا مطالب. So I'm one of the organizers في هذا الايفينمون هذا. بالنسبه للدرس اللي تعلمت so maybe recently came بزاف negative في السوشيال ميديا. I was depressed a little bit. كنت really bad stuff. But اللي عاوني في هذا الايفينمون هذا كانوا men, so they are supporting us a lot, and I want to thank you so much.
Hi everyone, Nohaida Shab, women technical. Sorry we got you by surprise. It's okay. First I want to thank Sana for the invitation for this event. I am a Women Technicals Ambassador. I am computer science and artificial intelligence engineering student. And it's really my pleasure to be here with you and to encourage each other. I just want to say being Women Technicals Ambassador was dream for me. So just I applied once and I was selected. So I just want to say just take the courage and have the courage to start new journeys in your life. And for sure there are many struggles, but you can do it. Just I also love this event because it's like a supportive community for girls to achieve many goals in there.
السلام عليكم. جينات بوزين والتهم جدتي كازابلانكا اورجنايزر والتهم امباسادور à partir de novembre 2022. Alors que j'étais organizer GDG WTM من 2007. Alors I did to help me. I did to be with the ambassador.
منير قرايشي أنا حاليا PhD student في مجال machine learning. En parallèle أنا كنقرا فرنسي بالإنجليزية وحاليا جمعية الظروف المستقبلية لسبب اليوم وسبب بعد ذلك تلقى حطينا صوت انا شعرت بهذه الرؤيه بشوشه Thank you so much, girls. I'll present myself also since I am a Women Technicals Ambassador. Also, of course, I did my name is Sana Himesh, and I am a product manager. I'm an organizer at GDG Casablanca, and I recently got selected by Google as the Women Technicals Ambassador. Since then, honestly, it has been a pleasure having this impact on people. And just a silly story, actually, one of the things that one of the requirements that Women Techmakers Ambassadors program give to people is that you have to log your activity to a certain platform for people to know that actually you're active in the program, or just for you to keep the position. Of course, I get lazy to log my activity. It's like posting on social media twice. But the funny thing is that you get to log in an activity of yours, and you get to answer some questions about how many people attended the event, what did you share, what did you tell people, what they did ask you, is it something that you think you impacted the community in? And I don't know, I just feel like while logging the activity, it's like I'm actually analyzing the experience or analyzing the events I have been to or the talk that I have given, which is really crazy because you're like, yeah, I actually made an impact. And the moment of realization is, I don't know, it's just, that's happiness for me. So thank you so much, guys, for being here today. And the Women Tech Makers ambassadors are really approachable. You can find them here, and you can find them here. Actually, we brought them together here today to give you more information about the program. Probably one of them is already working in a company that you want to be part of, or something like that. So yeah, just go. I'm just asking you guys to dare to ask questions and dare to look for information. Don't just wait for it because it's not gonna come. So. Yeah, there's a quick.
I'm not going to take so much time with you. I just have a small announcement. We, GDG Urban, we are organizing maybe the same event, but with different speakers and different concepts. You are very welcome to join us the 18th of March in International University of Rabat. I don't know if you already know the university. We will be waiting to see you there. Thank you very, very much.
Actually, it is kind of the season for International Women's Day events. Actually, GDG Gulbim are also organizing their International Women's Day event next week. So just look around, find events, and meet people. Thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit about women. It's such a magical word. It's such a strong word. Both is she. She's strong not because of how much she can lift, but how much she can lift others up. She's bravely taking risks. She's taking risks to achieve her goals. She's strong not because she's unbeatable, but because in every fall she will rise. She's handling a lot of battles. She's facing her reality. And she's strong not because she wanted to, but because the world forced her to be. Love is wrapped around her fingers and around her heart, and bravery is representing her whole heart. So let's all celebrate this day together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Women's Day, brought to you by Women Tech Makers. We're really glad we're having you here today, so we can celebrate this occasion together. The theme of this year is called Dare to Be, as you saw in our social media. So we really set out to accomplish our goals. We don't let others dictate what we can or cannot be. We're unapologetically and authentically ourselves. We have the courage to stand up for what we believe. We recognize everyone that has something unique to contribute, and we develop the potential that we notice actually. So this content and this hashtag Reflect Today's theme is not only brought to you, it's not only brought to women, it's for everyone, it's for men and women. I want everyone to celebrate that today, and I want everyone to dare to be themselves. I want everyone to take advantage of today, to take advantage of today's sessions. Women Tech Makers chose to do today a little bit kind of like inspirational talks, motivational talks, stories and stuff, not really like something technical as we're used to do in our other events. So this is all to boost your motivation, this is all to inspire you to be who you are and to pursue what you love actually. So today's theme, as I said, is for everyone, and I just want to tell you something, from a friend to a friend, not from an animator to another. Just take pictures. I love pictures. Take notes. Take as many notes as possible. Take pictures. Network, most importantly, meet new people, make friendships. Let's make this edition, like this year's edition, really unforgettable. Just tag each other, do whatever you want. I want you to feel really comfortable today in this room. Everyone in this room is equal, and I want you all to have the hashtag of Dare to Lead, and I want you all to support women tech leaders, and I want you all to feel familiar with each other. Thank you. So, moving on to talk a little bit about today's agenda. The first session that we're gonna have is by Mr. Carlos Mora. It's about the adventure of Kotlin and composed through the multi-platform Walk to do. Then there's a speech by Azafoni, who is actually me, anyways, about their leadership. There is also a speech by Kotan Lawarawi about challenging ourselves. And then there is a speech called Drop Your Worries and Just Exam. Actually, the title is really attractive. And then there's a special activity. There's a quite like a series game we're going to have in the end. So I hope you enjoy that to the fullest. So yeah, let's not make it a little bit more longer, and let's welcome our speaker today, Mr. Carlos Mora, who is a lead software engineer at Advanced Software.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. Hello, everybody. This is online. Hello. So let me start by saying that it's a pleasure to be here. To be honest, it's my first time in Morocco, and I'm really enthusiastic about all the excitement that everyone has. So before I start, let me just give a big round of applause to you. So. Thank you. And I'm here today to talk a bit about Kotlin and about Compose. And just to get to know you better, so who's an Android developer? Can you put in here? Android. Mobile developer. iOS? Okay. So we have a lot of people to convince after today, which is great. So who am I? My name is Carlos Mora. I'm an Android GD. If you also want to know more about the GD product, feel free to reach me at the end. I'm the founder at GDG Coimbra, which is a Portuguese community. I've been writing at Codeco Codes, and I love to travel, photography, and running. And I've been able to do both three here yesterday and today. All these slides are available online on my speaker deck. I'm going to read them at the end, so don't worry. I've also created a project that you can use to see how you can create this. So you can just clone this repository and run on all your devices. I've written a book if you want to know more about the platform, and I'm going to have my YouTube moment saying that I'm trying to have YouTube channel, so if you want to subscribe, be ahead. So let's start. I had this question here, how to develop an app, but this is valid for everything. So imagine that you want to start your own project. Typically, there are three things that make you create a project. First is you have an idea that you want to develop something. or you might be paying for it. You're in the company and your boss pays you to develop. Or there is a new library or a new framework that you want to test, and for that you create a new project or a new feature. So the first thing when you create a project that it's important, it's the requirements. So if you're writing a project that's just a proof of concept, and after that you don't care about the project, or if you're writing a project that's going to last for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, the duration of a project is really important when you select the technology that you want to use. But there's more. After you've got these initial steps defined, there's the second step, which is your team. So are you going to be a single developer, or there is a team that you can hire or allocate for the project? Also, in this team, which is their background? Are they web developers? Are they students? Are they mobile developers? So their background is really important when you select the technology that you want to use. Also, the team size also takes a big role here, because most of the times the teams are not that big, and you want to select a solution that allows you to quickly develop for all platforms. Moving on, we've got the project itself. When you talk about the project, there are always two constraints that are really important. Sometimes you're going to start a project that's already delayed, so you cannot spend time learning new things. And sometimes you cannot hire or allocate more people to your team. Finally, when you're selecting a project, it's just for a single platform. So you just want to use that same technology, and the platform is going to be Android, iOS, web, desktop, whatever. Or do you want to reach all platforms? And when we're talking about developing for all the platforms, there are always these solutions that we see here. And I know that there is a Flutter developer out there. This is going to be for you. Hi. And we've got all of these, what we call cross-platform solutions, or hybrid solutions. Ionic, Xamarin, Native, Flutter, and the list goes on and on and on. And when you talk about these solutions, I always like to see this video. I've made this test last week, and this test is basically, I'm going to just move it backgrounds. And again, I'm just sharing something from Instagram to Facebook. And once again, I'm just going to play it again. This component here exists for 10 years. Someone at Facebook forgot to update that widget, and when you're using the app, you're seeing some UI that was created 10 years ago, and no one decided to upgrade it. They forgot, we don't know. And there are more things about when we talk about cross-platform solutions. For instance, this is a popular Flutter library that people were using, and there's no problem with it. The problem is that this is an iPhone, and the iPhone doesn't have this dialog. This pop-up only exists on Android. So everyone that was using this library was having the Android behavior on an iOS. And iOS folks are really, really picky when you use Android things on their ecosystem. Interesting. So a really important part when you talk about these types of frameworks is, and the first one is be careful with the demo aspect. Everything sounds amazing when you look at the system talk where someone's going to make a demo. You're going to see this today. I'm going to show you that God multi-platform is incredible, but there is a demo effect. Everything works fine when you're on stage, when you try your presentation, and when we put our hands and try to develop features, we realize that when we try to do something multi-platform, cross-platform, hybrid platform, there are always few things that can be really painful to solve. Also, when you see like one of these frameworks, you framework dependence. And I've got a really good story about this. 6 years ago, I was using one of these tools to create an app. The app was developed and was running cross-platform for Android and iOS. And iOS decided to have a huge redesign, meaning that the entire UI of the iPhone changed. But since I was using one of these tools, I'm not going to say that it was this one, I had to wait 6 months for the new widgets to be launched. Only afterwards, when they're launched, I had to update my app, I had to submit it to the store, and the users needed to update my app. At the time, I lost 70% of all my users just because they were using the new iPhone and they were seeing the old UI of the iPhone apps. So these types of things are really important. Of course, this doesn't happen every day. And for the last years, they're trying to keep pushing things forward. But it's not the same thing. Also, if you're running on an old iPhone, for instance, you're going to see the new UI on the old iPhone, so you don't get consistency across other apps. Sometimes there are features missing, especially if one of the platforms has a feature and the other doesn't, you need to implement it yourself. This is always arguable, and flood developers are going to say, no, that's a lie, but performance is not the same. You've got a layer in between, it's impossible to achieve the same thing on one of these platforms or a native one. And you commitment to one framework. And one of my first slides was what happens if your project is for 5 years and after 2 years the framework stops to exist. What's going to happen to your project? Are you going to rewrite everything? Or are you going to develop your project and the framework? So all of these things are things you need to take into account. But I've got a solution. It might have guessed, it's called Kotlin. Because we all love Kotlin. Kotlin is an amazing language developed by JetBrains, and it was launched 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and in 2017 became an official language developed for Android. And then we realized that it was not only for Android, and we've got Kotlin on the server, on the web, we've got almost Kotlin on all the platforms. Which is great because a language that we use on all platforms if you're moving one platform to the other. The really important thing here about Kotlin multi-platform is that it's not a framework. Kotlin multi-platform is an SDK. So the goal of Kotlin multi-platform is not to develop everything and just share the whole code, the whole UI, or all the business logic. No. The goal of Kotlin multi-platform is just to share the business logic. Meaning that if you're going to make an app to access the weather, the requests to access the weather are going to be shared across all the apps, and you're going to make that request, that business logic, only once, and then share that library across all platforms. Also, a really cool thing about here is that it's not like on the other approaches, you need to do everything in Flutter. You need to do everything on Xamarin, on Ionic. Here, you can decide what you want to share. You can start with just creating your database in Kotlin multi-platform and sharing it on all platforms. Or you can just do the network, or you can do everything. You decide what you want to do. And another cool thing about here is that imagine that during the development process, you realize that Kotlin multi-platform is not for you. You can use it only on Android. Okay? You can use the entire code on Android and do the thing from scratch for iOS. And the UI, the goal of Kotlin multi-platform is just for the business logic, so the UI needs to be developed natively, or you can use a framework like Flutter, or you can use multi-platform, as you can see later on in this talk. It's also possible to share it. So, just a few words about Kotlin multi-platform. We're going to hear a lot of words if you search about Kotlin multi-platform. The first one is going to be KMP, means Kotlin multi-platform. You can also learn MPT, which is multi-platform, but it was not for KMP. KMP, Kotlin multi-platform, involves all of these libraries, but all of these platforms. So you've got WebAssembly, you've got JavaScript, you've got GPM, you've got native, and you have got KMM. KMM means Kotlin multi-platform mobile. So it's just the subset of Kotlin multi-platform focused on mobile. When we talk about native, we include, of course, the desktops and the iOS. And then we talk about Kotlin multi-platform mobile. We have got Android, iOS, iOS, watchOS, and all the variations of iPhone. So moving on. If you want to start, because I know that you're all convinced about Kotlin multi-platform, so if you want to start, the best thing that you can do for starting is download Android Studio, install Android Studio, install the Kotlin multi-platform mobile plugin, and create a new project with Kotlin multi-platform app, and that's it, next, and you can run it on Android and iOS for free. Or there is a cool template called the Kit. that was created by TouchLab that you can import, and it already makes network requests already as a database. So it's a bit more, it has more functions than the ones that you have on the template you use when first. So it's time to talk. The goal here of Cloud Multi-Platform is to share your business logic across all platforms. But all platforms have different functionalities. For instance, if you're using Android, you're going to use to store, for instance, some data, you're going to use shared preferences. But on iOS, they're called NS user defaults, and on the web are called web settings, and if you go to the desktop, are called settings only. So there are different behaviors for specific platforms, and we want code to be written on our platform and to be only on that platform. So how can we achieve this? Let's see a simple example. Imagine that we want to show a message on the screen that's going to be hello Android, hello iOS, hello desktop, hello web, and so on. So the only thing that's going to be different is the variable that corresponds to the platform itself. So what we can do is we can create a file here. We have a folder called common name, and we're going to create a class that's called platform, and there is a specific keyword that we're going to use called expect. It's as I'm speaking, I expect someone that's going to define what name is. So if I'm targeting for Android desktop and the web, someone needs to define what name is for each one of these platforms. So let's go for Android. And you can see that I'm going from common name to Android name. So on end, I'm going to say that, well, actually here, what name is, it's Android. So I have the same class, but instead of using the keyword expect, I now use the keyword actual and say that actually name means Android. And then I do the same thing for the other platforms. So if I'm on the desktop, I'm going to say that it's desktop. If I'm on the web, I'm going to say that it's web. And if I have iOS, I'm going to say on iOS main here, that's going to be iOS. And when I compile my code for Android, I'm only going to have this code. There's no code that I don't need over there. The same thing is valid for all the platforms. So typically these are the mobile libraries that we use. We use Scoop or for database, Retrofit on 5 for network request, case logic, transition, serialization for serialization, and so on. So all of these libraries can be merged into a single library. So we use simple delight for databases, Tor for network requests, serialization for politics, and all that. And then the UI can still be done as you want to usually do on Android or iOS. So I got just a couple of libraries that are commonly used on Cloud Multi-Platform. Don't worry, I know that there are a lot of them over here, and there is also a GitHub page with all the libraries that are commonly used. The only thing important here is that there are a lot that's important to retain is that there are a lot of libraries already that do a lot of things. So although Cloud Multi-Platform is new, you don't need to implement everything from scratch because there are people that already did that. A couple of important things is, okay, I'm talking about Cloud Multi-Platform, but I have people that develop for iOS, and they have Fluent developers. How can I convince them that Cloud Multi-Platform can be in the future? So when we talk with iOS developers, I think that we notice is that they really hate core data. It's the way that they manage the database that it's really painful to implement. And the approach that we took was, okay, if you want to do, I can ease up your life, and you can have database for free. You can use this small library that already does everything for you. And this was the way that we convinced them. Also, another important thing was using multi-platform will also fasten your project development. So when I convinced my new team that we should move to Cloud Multi-Platform, the thing that I did was, okay, they wanted to learn Swift UI, which is a new way that we create UIs on Swift on iOS, and they had time to learn while we were developing the business logic. So in the end, they were able to learn how to implement the new features using this new library for iOS, while the project was still being developed, and at the end, they just needed to connect their UI with the library that have everything already with them. So why Kotlin platform? So first of all, it's Kotlin, and I hope that if you take something from this lecture is we all love Kotlin. Okay? Kotlin is an amazing language. It has really low risk because you can decide what it's worth sharing. You have your fast your development because you're going to develop only once and then share it across all platforms. You've got one tech stack, so you're developing your code and run it everywhere. This might mean that if you have a bug, you're going to have a bug on all your platforms. But if you see the gap is half full, if you fix a bug, you're going to fix a bug on all platforms. So you've got that, which is great. And you've got a really strong community. So a lot of people are moving towards community platform. A lot of people are trying to solve all the issues that still exist because we're talking about the technology that has 3-4 years and we're competing against technology that has more than 20 years. And everyone is there to try to push it forward. And the question that I always receive is, there are apps in production using community platform? Yes, there are. These are apps used by millions of users. For instance, Netflix recently said that they were recently being 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. 2 years ago said that they were moving to a community platform, and they're really happy with the result. Cash App, as developers from Single Delight are using the platform, VMware, Index Banks, and even Strava as part of the code on the platform. Moving on, we've seen that it's possible to share your business logic quite easy, but you can do better. So there is also a new good UI toolkit for Android called Compose that, basically all of these keywords, all of these buzzwords, it allows you to write your applications faster because you're going to write less code, it's intuitive, it makes your development faster, and it's really powerful. All of these buzzwords are true. I'm working with Compose for the past 2 years, and we noticed that our Android app, when we switched to Compose, and after everyone learned Compose, we were able to save them 3 months of development on new features, on new app developments. And yes, a lot of applications are already using Compose. So Twitter said that they are going all in Compose, and it made them greater productivity and less bugs. Airbnb, Google Play, Lyft, Strava, Most, all of these apps are all doing things in Compose. And when you talk about Compose, they didn't decide to stop everything and rewrite the entire stack. No. What they did was, there was a new feature that needs to be developed, and they decided to do that feature with Compose. And you can have Compose and XML because they work really well side by side. Moving on, when you talk about Compose, and I know that this is going to be the most important part of talking of my class, I need to talk about these libraries. Okay? When we talk about Compose has all of these libraries. So we first have the Compose compiler in the runtime, and then you have what we can call of Compose UI for animation, material 3 implementation, Compose UI. And why is this important? So if you talk about the Compose compiler, so it's written in Kotlin and doesn't use the annotation processor, it's really fast, and basically the compiler and the runtime, it's platform agnostic. They don't know what Android is or what iOS is, they don't know anything. They know that they receive instructions, and they need to process them. What's the important part here is that it's Compose UI toolkit. So all of these libraries, it's what you see on Android, it's what you see in the buttons, the text, the images, the lists, all of that is created by all of these libraries. So you've got animation, as the name says, animation, the material design to use for the system, to the design system, the foundation column text, the images, column text, and images, and the UI to handle, for instance, when you write a text message and it says on the screen the message that you write. And the really cool thing about here is that now you can have the Compose UI toolkit for Android, but you can also have the same UI toolkit for desktop, for the web, for the console, and for the iOS. And you can even have it for the Raspberry Pi. There are even projects of people pushing it forward and make it run on the Raspberry Pi. One thing when you talk about Compose, this is just a couple of libraries that's important for you to use because they do a lot of work. The company's libraries, you can use it and you can have everything almost for free. We have swipe refresh, which is when you pull your screen, it automatically creates animation and reloads the code that's needed. And this is just a note that if you're using Kotlin and Compose, be careful when you upgrade the Compose version or the Kotlin version, because sometimes they don't go side by side. So you cannot just update one and not the other. So once again, it's Kotlin. We love Kotlin. It's once again the keyword that I want everyone to remember. It has real small risk. There's a low risk because once again, when you say what's for sharing, it makes your developer faster, it can use code, and it's way simple to implement your design system. And the design system is not only the ranking that the app has, but it's, for instance, imagine that you want to have a dark theme. For instance, all the apps now have a dark theme. It's quite easy to do this with Compose. You just need to define a specific color set or images, and the system will automatically load them for the dark theme if the device is a dark theme, or even if you select a dark theme. So, next, I've been talking about multi-platform, first about Kotlin, and then about Compose. So the big question here now is how to develop a multi-platform app. And I'm going to show you just a simple example. So this is an app that I've created. It's called Splash app. Basically, there is an API. There is an internet setting that has a lot of images, which is Splash. I'm just fetching the most training images. I've got a couple of screens here, so I'm moving from one tab to the other. I'm searching. I'm from Portugal, so I was searching for Portugal. It loaded a new set of images, and that's it. And then with this exact tab, I've moved the code and shared the code that we have a new target for the watch. And everything is running on the watch with the same thing. This is the exact same code. And I've went a bit further and did the same thing for desktop. So the same code that you receive on an Android, you also see on the desktop. And you can see that there is a desktop because I'm going to resize the window, so you don't think that it's just an Android. And the really cool thing is that you also have it now on iOS. So the exact same Android code that's running on the desktop is also running on the It's also running Spotlight. It's also running on iOS. The exact same code. And it's important to mention that there are apps already published and accepted on the Play Store that have the Compose code in it. And finally, we've got it running on the web. The web is a bit different because we cannot still use the same Compose code for the web, but you can use Compose for the web. So the great goal here is all the business logic is shared across all the platforms. So everything is shared on Android, iOS, desktop, watch, etc. The web is shared across Android, desktop, and iOS. And the watch and web uses Compose, although the same code cannot be shared across the web. So how to share everything? So this is a good question. So different platforms use different classes to access images into screens, and they have different components. For instance, Android lifecycle, navigation, view model, live data, etc. So this is different from platform to platform. Actually, there are libraries that are going to help you with this. So if there's something that doesn't exist, you can always do the same thing and create your platform-specific implementation. Like we saw with the name, you can do the same thing for all the features. You can use libraries that support it. So you're going to see that, for instance, the swap to refresh that I mentioned, you just need to move to another library that has that support. And if there is a library that doesn't support multi-platform, well, you can just add that support. So looking at the libraries, I mentioned before that we should use these libraries. Well, there is a version from CR10. This is a GitHub user that already has support for Android desktop and native, which is iOS. Now, talking about multi-platform libraries for image loading to fetch images, Capcom has support for Android desktop, but doesn't have support for JS or native iOS. So you can use, for instance, this touch-like image that I've created. If you go to the repository that I mentioned at the beginning, you can see that there is this touch-like image that is going to basically use this version for Android, the core library, or the image loading for desktop and iOS. And instead of using the tool that you usually use for image loading, you can just use this one. For handling strings and other resources, you can use more resources. To handle the models, navigation, and all those features specific to Android, you can use the Google Rules library. The UI it's possible to share across Android desktop and iOS. It's important to mention that iOS is still experimental, but you can have something like this. So this is your iPhone app. You just use this code, or in this case, Android app. You just use this code to display the text in the middle of the screen. Yes, I have it done. So this code is to show the text in the center of the screen, and you've got the same code running on iOS and on the desktop. So what you need to do to share your UI code, you just need to create a new library, you create a new shared library. You need to see which libraries you need to import to run multi-platform. In case you need to create a new one, just create a new library, you move your compose code into shared library, and you migrate all the platform-specific code that you might need. So once again, this migration, you need to migrate the code to use the annotation expected action. Talking about the web are still on the beginning. The compose paradigm is a bit different. So it's more focused on documenting and not all the components are available. So previously we saw that you can have the column object and then have the column with an image or text in the center. When you're talking about the web, you still need to use div and the style, position, flex, all of that attributes that you're already familiar with. You still need to use them as compose. Of course, you can do something like this to reuse all the code, and with this you can use across all the platforms the same code, but this is going to be really tough to maintain. It's going to be really complex to keep this for all possible configurations that we have. So, sharing logic works without any problem. Be careful that the final JS file might be for several megabytes and you need to do other things. Sharing the UI is going to be time consuming, and most of the libraries don't still support the web. Moving for iOS, where are we? So iOS is still experimental. Sharing logic works without any problem. Sharing the UI kind of works. There are apps already in production, although you still need to use some community product, some libraries created by the community. Once again, look out for the effect. I show you everything works. If you're going to use the project that I have on my GitHub, it works without any problem. But once again, it was created for this presentation. If you want to do something a bit different, a bit more complex, it might not be suitable to share with iOS for the time being. Today it can be really complex. For the watch, sharing logic works without any issue. Sharing the UI, it's going to be so. We're waiting for the support to this NPR will be settled. So why this is important? For instance, if you don't have a bigger team, this allows you to quickly create a desktop app, especially if you already did it on Android, and you can sell that desktop app. For instance, if you don't have enough Android devices for everyone to test things, they can use that desktop app that simulates what Android app does. And this is now being done for desktop, and I can say that we already sold a desktop application created initially for Android. But iOS and the webs are the next steps. So imagine that you can just build it once and just run it everywhere. This was an old tagline a few years back. But you now can really run it everywhere without any problem, and you can solve it. And profit about it, and you can reduce your team size, or you can do more things because you've got time for that. Some quick key takeaways. So, multitasking mobile is more than stable, composing mode is stable, desktop is starting to be stable, web is alpha, iOS is still experimental. There is still some documentation and samples that are not there yet. I don't think the community is creating a lot of them, but we're still in the early stages, and the community's good support is just amazing. I've just here a couple of resources if you want to know more. I always advise not in Slack. In Slack, it's a lot of information. People from JetBrains are answering to all your questions. There is a really cool book about Welcome to Platform by Touchline. I supported the one that's for events. And of course, about Compose, there are a lot of samples online that you can see, a list of samples and projects that you can see. And there is, of course, this community that's really strong here. Merging both projects, multi-platform Compose, you can check these links, and we're running out of time, so thank you so much. If you have any questions, see me afterwards. Thank you so much for coming to my talk. You're very welcome. I advise you to try some of our food. It's very delicious. I have a question. I wouldn't say Flutter developer, but just a person that uses Flutter, maybe doing some stuff that means nothing. But I wanted to ask, as a cross-platform coding language, do you have to add specific pieces of code to each of the folders of, for example, web app and Android? Because in Flutter, for example, we have some widgets that only work for web, or ones that only work for Android, or are the widgets used like in general? We don't need to add code. Thank you so much. Really good question. I tried last year, and it was really good.
Which one? Chicken or fish?
Yeah, chicken.
Like.
What a question. It's a really good question. So, there are two things. If we're talking about shutdown in the business you don't need to do anything like that. For instance, if you're going to use a library that already gives that support, for instance, for network requests, you're going to use Ktor. And the library itself does that underneath. You don't need to do something Android specific or iOS specific. You can have one in the common domain, and that common domain makes the requests or handles the platform below. You don't need to do any type of code. If you want to do, for instance, what I showed you afterwards, which is the UI, it depends. So if you have a library that does that for you, you don't need to do it. But in the end, I would say that on 99% of the projects, you might need to have something like on Android, my name on this behavior, on iOS, my name on this behavior, on web, my name on this behavior. But those are just small things. From my opinion, it's not as complex as it is to do that for Flutter. Because with this expect actual class, we typically are going to call just native functions that do that for you. So imagine that you want to, a simple example, imagine that you want to use the logger. On Android it's called log, from Android OS build, on iOS it's called NS logger, if I'm not mistaken. What you're going to do is, you're going to create a log class on the common domain. And on Android domain, you're going to, when you call the log class, you're going to call underneath the Android OS log. And on Android, you're going to call Android OS log, and on iOS, you're going to call NS log. So it's just a small thing that you might end up doing. Of course, as projects grow in complexity, there might be other use cases that you want to add. But typically, once again, a lot of libraries already do that for you, and you don't need to take a lot of their content.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos, for your presentation today. And before we leave the stage, we have a small dance. our friends. And for our next speech,
Okay, it's just me, so don't feel the pressure. The animator, the speaker, whatever. I'm gonna wait for. I'm just gonna wait for a slide to be displayed. Anyways, I just want to know your mood right now. Let me know how excited you are. Are you excited for the next sessions?
yes.
You're not?
Yes.
You are? Okay, I want to hear. Are you excited for the next session?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I want the energy. Okay. Is it good? Thank you. Okay, just to introduce myself, I'm FS1D. I guess I'm the youngest one here in the room, so I'm in my second year of baccalaureate. I'm the owner of my brand that is called YOLO, You Only Live Once. It's a brand that I just launched where I sell customized sneakers. I'm also the founder of the STEM initiative, which aims to empower the young girls to pursue their STEM passions, between science, technology, engineering, and maths. I'm a DigiGirls alumni, so I was a mentee in the edition of 2020, 2021, and then a mentor in the edition of 2022. And then I'm ambassador of Womanpreneur, which is an initiative based in Belgium. And I am the owner of the Youth Zone podcast that is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So I would love you to actually check it out and let me know. Anyways, my hobbies. I am an artist. I am also a photographer. I'm a reader. I participate also in the Modeling United Nations. I will be having my second Modeling United Nations next week. And I'm a public speaker. I've been already in the International Women's Day last year, and I was already a guest in the show Washington Tuna with my friend. And so I'm also a debater. Just fun facts about me: I'm an INTJ, so this is my personality type. I'm a night person. I love self-learning, and especially I'm a very, very obsessed one with sweet food. Anyways, so let's get started. Just a little bit about the content of today. So at first, we're going to start with the why. Why we're talking about dairy leadership, and then the what. Who are we talking about? What is dairy leadership? And then the how we can be dairy leaders. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some personal experiences as a young leader. Maybe I can, get you close to the perspective of young leaders. I'm just representing many, many leaders here in Morocco, so I'm not the only one. I'm not the only young one who owns like a lot of, brands and initiatives. So yeah. At first, I want you to take those things into consideration. I want you to remember that. I don't want anyone in this room to go out of my talk without getting those notes, without getting those points. The first thing that I want you to remember, and it is a quote by Brené Brown, is people, people, people are people, people, people. I'm going to say it again. People, people, people are people, people, people. What I mean by that is, we're all equal in the room, so whether I'm a leader and you're my teammate, whether I'm the boss and you're my colleague and you're my employee, we're still all equal and we're still all people. This shift, I guess, changed a lot in my perspective as a public speaker, because once you're in the stage and you see staff members, you see presidents, you see, a lot of teachers and stuff, especially me as like a young one, especially as a student, and you see a lot of people who has like bigger experiences than you just doubt yourself and you just feel the pressure and you just feel like you have to do a lot to be in their level. While we're just people, just keep that in mind, you know, whether you're a leader, whether you're a teammate, we're all people. The second meaning that I want you to remember is sometimes it's كنقول خاصنا نفرقوا ما بين our personal lives and our professional lives. كنقول باللي what's professional, what's emotional خاص تكون بعيدة what's professional, what's something personal. But then when I read books and when I did my research, I discovered that there is something about it. You can never improve the work if you're not improving the people inside your team. The work inside your team, your company is going to be like successful if you're not focusing on the people, if you're not focusing on the potential of people. So when you focus on people and their vulnerabilities and their weaknesses and their abilities and you work on improving their skills, then the whole company, the whole brand, the whole team, the whole work, the whole project is going to get successful for sure. The second point is I'm coming with a new perspective because we often, talk about leaders versus bosses, but here I'm coming with a new perspective, which is our leaders versus their leaders, and I'm going to show you the difference later. And then I want you to actually come out of this talk changing your perspective about vulnerability. Vulnerability is known as like a weakness inside our society, but it's actually a culture of work. And I'm going to show you a little bit, what does that mean. The organizational management in the workplace is a philosophy, and that's why I'm speaking today about it. It's pretty important. First, I want to ask you a question. I want this session to be really interactive, and I'm going to take around like 2 answers or 3 answers of each question. I want to know like how do you define a leader? Who is a leader in your perspective? Yes, sir.
A leader is someone who the common good and guiding everyone to a single outcome or goal or whatever.
Okay, good. That's a good definition. Someone else? Yeah, sure.
So, in my opinion, there are many definitions of a leader, but the one that stands the most is basically someone who is guiding, mentoring, and showing some people who are around him the way for a good path. Let's take, for example, it's not a common example. I like to say a leader is more of a parental figure, if you want to say. Someone like a father who's guiding his son to a better destination.
I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, another one? Okay, we're going to take the last one.
The leader for me is someone who's always willing to take the initiative, no matter the cost. It might be a sacrifice or something that might affect him personally, but they always take the initiative before it comes with the initiative.
Okay, perfect. I love all of your definitions actually, and they're all good. I also love the fact that you kind of like related the leader to the father thing, because it is kind of like related to that. So I'm gonna give a new definition. It is not by Brene Brown, and it says I define a leader as anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential of people and processes, and who has the courage to develop that potential. So if you can notice, this definition has 2 parts. First, it's finding the potential in people and processes, and this is not easy. And the second one, which is not easy as well, having the courage to develop that potential. So when it comes to daily leadership, it's a process. Daily leadership is a collection of skills that can be taught in order to cultivate a culture in which brave work, tough conversations, and cool hearts are the expectation. So when it comes to daily leadership, we expect more of people to have tough discussions, to actually get close to themselves, to build trust within the team so they can get an outcome. How we can be their leaders, like what are like the 4 set skills of their leadership? There's the first one, rambling with vulnerability, bringing trust, living into our values, and learning to rise. I just want you to give me a little bit about vulnerability. I just want to know, what do you understand from the word vulnerability? Is it positive? Is it negative? Should we have vulnerability in our team or not? Yes, go ahead.
Personally, whenever I heard this word, since I work at the summer defense, it's such a heavy word whenever we hear vulnerability. It means that we are talking about a weakness that comes sometimes inside a progress of something or a system. Sometimes when you talk about a person, when you say he's vulnerable, that means that he has some weaknesses, that maybe we can use these weaknesses to attack this person physically or maybe in his mind.
Yes.
So this world, it may be normally get a progress to be resolved, and sometimes it may be used to what we say, maybe we can use it to attack the system and use it to figure out that there is so much vulnerabilities related to the person.
I see.
So it depends on how we use it and how we resolve it.
I see. So you gave from the perspective of like cybersecurity.
Yes.
So when I look at the word vulnerability in tech, it's like risks and bugs and blah. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
But when you talk about people,
yes,
kind of
it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next one.
Yes, go ahead.
I think to me, when someone shows that he's vulnerable, I think it's a positive thing. It kind of shows that he's a human too, and it kind of makes me relate to him. Because sometimes people like to put a surface,
yes,
but when they're vulnerable, you can like see them clearer.
This is exactly what I want to do. Exactly, yes. Okay. One last opinion. Yes, okay.
Alright, before I start, I would like to say that she took the definition of vulnerability from a character writing perspective and telling a story. I agree with the fact that she said that vulnerability is a human factor. We're all vulnerable.
Yes.
But I don't agree with the fact that he said that our vulnerability is something that we are trying to hide. Not something that we try to expose to the entire world. It is okay to be vulnerable, but what makes someone better than the rest is dealing with their vulnerabilities, because at the end of the day, they are the one who define who he is.
Exactly, but we all agree with the fact that showing our vulnerabilities is not a weakness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about vulnerability. So the myth is what you said basically. It's someone who's vulnerable is someone who's sensitive and someone who's weak. But what science says, what the new researchers say, is that vulnerability is the willingness to show up and be seen with no guarantee of outcome, to own our stories of failure, heartbreak, and disappointment. I want you to remember any time where you felt brave, you're going to find yourself in one of those situations, whether you are facing disappointment, whether you're facing a failure, or you're facing a heartbreak. And the fact that you're dealing with those negative situations is basically showing that you are facing your vulnerability and you are facing the situation with like a smart way. The courage to be vulnerable is not about winning or losing. This is the difference that we want to show actually. It's not about showing if we're successful or failing actually in society. But it's about the courage to show up on the arena. It's about the courage to take the initiative. So let's relate it to the leadership thing. When it comes to leaders, the fact that I'm taking the initiative, I'm actually having the courage to find the potential in people, knowing that I have a lot of flaws, knowing that I lack a lot of abilities, knowing that I have a lot of weaknesses, and I still try to show them, I still try to improve myself, I still try to learn from people around me, and I don't try to be like the knower, like the all knower, you know what I mean? This is what vulnerability is about. When it comes to handling with the vulnerability within the team, like let's put it into a practical situation. Let's put it more into practice. A rumble is basically a discussion, a conversation, or a meeting defined by a commitment to lead into vulnerability, to stay curious and to stay generous, which means to share ideas and to stay generous when it comes to like your emotions and your feedbacks towards the situation, like towards the problem, and to stick with the messy middle of the problem identification and solving, which means that sometimes as a leader, I face a lot of situations where we find ourselves in a whole mess. So we can't really get out of it, you know what I mean? And sometimes people tend to say, you know, let's just ignore this problem and move on. But rumbling with vulnerability is not about that. Like, it's really about sticking to the messy middle of the problem and getting into the arena with courage and trying to actually solve the problem with your people. Trying to have discussions with them, trying to listen to them most importantly, try to actually get their feedbacks, try to know what's their problem, what's their weaknesses, what should be improved, and what are we okay with. It's inside our team and what we are not okay with. The second skill is building trust. I want another question. I want another answer from you. I want you to imagine a person you trust right now. You trust in your life, whether a friend or a family member or someone. And I want you to imagine how this person looks like for you. You know, I want to know who is this person and how does this person look like? How does trust look like in your life? Yes.
This person is responsible. And who can I rely on?
Yes, you can depend on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's enough.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Someone else? Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, for me, I think I trust people who have philosophical foundations behind their thought process, and not just people who have shallow ideas that can be broken down
I see.
easily. So you can depend on that. So,
I
and
see.
it shows when it. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good perspective too. Okay, one last one.
I may answer sarcastically. How does the person you trust if maybe you know?
Maybe what?
You know, since your brand is, you know, just.
Okay.
Yeah, the person must be, but it must be shared, you know. I have to trust him and
Yes.
trust me as well. And I can show my darkness without
judgment, without making that they will judge you.
And whenever I have to talk to the person, think twice. I say what I say, and I can.
So there's someone who listens to you.
Yes, without judging me, and when he wants or she wants to tell me something, she don't or she doesn't think about going to feel bad or you know, it's it's like what I have to say. It must be clear between us, and there is no. Transparent. It must be transparent.
Yes. So you might think that all of those things that we said right now are only applied in our relationships, or our like friendships with people, and our relationships with our family members, and you cannot apply that word. But please imagine, just imagine an environment where we actually have all those people who respect our opinions, respect our feelings, respect our vulnerabilities actually, and who we can trust inside our teams. So what I'm trying to do in my teams, whether in DG Girls or whether like in all the projects that I've led, is that I try to take time, I try to take enough time so my teammates can get close to each other, so they can get close to each other and get to know each other on a deeper level, on a human level, before they can work. This actually changes all, like it changes literally everything. How many minutes left? 10 minutes? Okay. So it changes everything, it changes the perspective, it changes the work, it impacts the whole work, because having someone who, having like a team who do not really know about each other and they just like have work and they just focus on the process, they're not going to give you the outcome that you actually dream of. You need to, as a leader, you need to work on building trust inside your team. You need to have members who trust each other so they can give each other tasks, so they can give each other responsibilities. Because if not, then you're going to be stuck in solving conflicts inside your team, obviously. Okay. Building trust is not easy, let's say. It's a whole process and it takes time. And we don't trust it by saying, trust me, I can take that, trust me, I can do that. No, it doesn't work this way. Trust building is earned through heroic needs or even highly visible actions, but it's through paying attention, it's through listening, and it's through gestures of genuine care and connection. I want each leader to care of their, to take care of their members, to actually ask about them. كده يا ماما كيف ماماك I don't know, with the process, just ask personal questions, just try to earn the trust of people. كده processes, you're facing some struggles, you're facing something, do you need my help? Ask questions, know about the processes, know about the problems of people, let them know that you're there for them, not just by words, but by actions. Let them know that you are there for them. Let them know that whenever they struggle, when they face a problem, you are actually there to solve it with them. Let them know that you're close to them. As he said, let them know that you are a father or a mother. My teammates always tell me, when I lead them the project, they feel like they are my daughters and they feel like I am a mommy to them. Why? Because I care a lot. Why? Because I use even my vulnerability and my emotions. And that's absolutely not a weakness, This is one of the things that I want to correct, actually. Women are known to be, women leaders are using their emotions, but no, this is a strength. This is a brave thing, because we're connecting with our teammates on a human level, and we're not actually, look at them now as robots. We're not giving them tasks to do and work to do and then done. No, we're connecting to them on a human level, and then the outcome is truly amazing. The outcome is truly different. So I want you to actually take advantage of that. And for women, for ladies like me, whoever tells you that leaders and women leaders are actually using their emotions in leadership, say yes and just be proud of that. Anyway. So, this is also a thing that I want you to remember. Who we are is how we lead. The values we actually believe in, the things that we believe in, is basically building our leadership style. There's also a quote by Brené Brown. Brené Brown is one of my favorite authors, and I actually recommend her books for you. She said that living into our values means that we do more than process our way of being or believing. We practice them, we walk our talk, we are clear about what we believe and hold important, and we take care that our intentions, words, thoughts, and behaviors align with those beliefs. Basically, our leadership style always aligns with the beliefs we have and with the values we actually, the beliefs that we value the most. There is a list of values, and I want to dive into each one of them because that's long, but they are in order of alphabetic. There's ambition, there's collaboration, there's love, openness, optimism, wealth, well-being, wholeheartedness, and stuff like that. Those are all values that we actually appreciate in our teams. But the thing is that in each one of your definitions, when I asked you about who is the leader for you, or when I asked you about how does the person you trust look like, you actually talked about different values. So for her, it was responsibility. For her, it was listening. And for each one of us, it's a different value. The exercise that I want you to do, not now actually, but it needs time. It's a whole reflective exercise. So just go home and actually try to choose 2 or 3 beliefs from the list of values that I gave you. I'm going to go back if you want to take a picture. If you want to actually just screen that really quickly. So I want you to choose 1 or 2 values of those, this list, and actually ask yourself these questions. Does this define me? Is this who I am at my best? Is this a filter that I use to make hard decisions? Because the more you're aware of your values, the more you're aware of what you look for in a classmate or a teammate, who you look for in a person, who you look for in a partner, and it applies on all the aspects of life. I want you to do that exercise because it's really important, because the more you know the values you value more in a team, the more your leadership style actually becomes more outstanding. Anyways, I'm just going to skip to talk a little bit about the difference between our leaders and their leaders. I want you to be their leaders, and I want you to actually ignore that list of things. I want you to avoid that. So, our leader is being the knower and he's trying to be right, but their leader is being the learner and he's trying to get right. So you see the difference? An normal leader is also always examining, avoiding problems and avoiding like such personal issues, but for their leader is someone who talks straightly and takes action. A normal leader is leading from hurt, but their leader is leading from heart. So there's like a big difference between that. I'm going to talk about 3 projects of mine, 3 things where I felt like I'm a dairy leader, where I felt like I practice dairy leadership. The first one is DigiGos. Maybe it's because I spent 2 years in DigiGos. The first experience I was okay. DigiGos, I said the first year I was a mentee and I was a project manager, and we got like the 2nd place nationally, and then the 2nd edition I was a mentor, and maybe the fact that I was always building, some activities, some team building activities, some parties. I was trying to get the girls out and I was trying to have fun with them and to get close to them and stuff. This is one of the secrets that made my team stand out in front of others, and it made them really motivated, made them always passionate about what they're doing. Also, YOLO, this is my new brand, and working on YOLO was such a hard thing. Working on my customized sneakers brand is such a hard process. Because dealing with the brand strategists and trying to think of a unique idea and trying to stand out in front of like so many small businesses is really hard. And the last one is WeStem. All of our activities were virtual basically, but I was so close to my teammates to the point that whenever like someone who has a problem was reaching out to me. And the thing about their leadership is that it helped me to connect with people from different countries. So in WeStem, we had people, I had like teammates from Algeria, from Tunisia, from Oman, from Egypt. So we were basically having that diversity, and that diversity was a strong point of ours. You know what I mean? So those were like only 3 experiences of mine where I felt like their leadership is such an important thing, and I felt like I was strong as a leader. And I hope that was pretty beneficial for you. And thank you. I promise that it's not going to be long, but it's in your patience. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And for our next stop, just présenter les attentats. Okay, challenge yourself.
السلام عليكم.
مرحبا بكم اليوم. صراحة فرحنا بزاف حيت I'm gonna share with you my story. عليك وتر. بيني وبينكم it's a challenge for me. كنقولكم challenge راسكم ولكن being here with you is also a challenge for me. And I'm gonna share a secret with you. So had challenge اللي هو I'm gonna do this talk without slides. So it will be the first time that I'm not going to use slides. I would love to say also that I'm gonna speak Arabic. So sorry guys. So جيت اليوم نعرف لكم على الستوري ديالي وعلى بزاف ديال التشالنجز اللي عشت صراحه في حياتي. غادي نبدا لكم شويه من الانفونس. نقدر نقول لكم فاش كنت في الجامعه كان كيسولني شي واحد على الكارير ديالي كيقول لي شنو غتكون يا قصه فاش تكبري. كنقول لهم انا بيا داكتور فاش كنت كنقول لهم بصح بغيت نكون طبيبه ما بقتش كنكذب عليهم ولا شي حاجه. راه بصح كنت باغا نكون طبيبه. انا كنت باغا نقرا ونجيب داك لو سي ديال الميديسين وكلشي من الصغر. دابا انا ماشي طبيبه. انا سوفتوير انجينير والانجينيري سيتي بور موا شي حاجه اللي امبوسيبل نديرها. يعني بالنسبه لي اصلا انجينير كان هو داك السيد اللي كيبني الديور هو داك المهندس. ما كانش عندي في بالي ديك انجينير شي شعبه نقدر ندير بها شي حاجه. دونك انجينير بالنسبه لي توظيفو عمرني ما غادي نفكر اني نديرها. صافي كاينه شي حاجه اللي قدامي هي لا ميديسين. كنت كنقرا كنت كنجي مزيان بريمير كوليج ليسي هكا شنو غادي ندير في التوجه. دايما سيونس حيت اداب ما غاديش دير ليا شي حاجه ديال ليكونومي شي حاجه تكنيك ما خداماش. دونك موراها درت سيونس فيزيك باش حيت كيكون النقاط يكونوا شويه طالعين. وهنا طرات ليا واحد نقدروا نقولوا كارثه بالنسبه ليا هي انه كنت ما جبتش مزيان في السيزيام. جبت 11 مع المواد الادبيه وداكشي جايبه 9 في التربيه الاسلاميه كانت صافي ديك الساعه الله الميديسين مشات. واخا كنت كنجي زعما من ديما في الباخور ديالي في القرايه كنت كنجي سواء انا الاولى سواء انا الثانيه. زعما اكثر من هادشي ما قل من هادشي ما كاينش. دونك فاش ديك 11 شوكيت زعما لايك 11 عمري كنت كنسوق عمري ما قريت واش كانت واحد الشوك كبير بالنسبه ليا. ولكن واخا هكا قلت ماشي مشكل راه في الباك راه نقدر نجي مزيان. دونك في الباك قريت مزيان سورتو كان عندي مع لي ماتيير سيانتيفيك. جي ديسيت وقيله في 17 في الباك مع النقطه ديال سميتو المراقبه المستمره وداكشي. كانت عندي البون نوت وصلت ديال لي كونكور. في الوقيته ديال لي كونكور لي طاسي كنت هزيت فيهم في الميديسين ومشيت ودوزت الكونكور. ولكن في ديك اللحظه باش انني داك الحلم اللي كنت باني عليه حياتي كامله من الصغر وانايا باغا نديرو فاش وصلت لديك اللحظه ديال انني غناخذ داك ستيب وغادي نمشي نقرا داكشي اللي بغيت ما بقيتش بغيت. بديت كنفكر كنقول وانا الميديسين شنو غادي ندير. غنبدا نقرا 7 سنين وبقى غير كنقرا ودابا من ديك 7 سنين حياتي غادي تضيع. كيجي لي صافي راه حياتي غادي تضيع وغادي نبقى نشوف الناس مراد وغادي نشوف الدم وداكشي. انا بشخصيتي بديت كنتعرف على راسي في داك الباركور. يقول الميديسين بالنسبه لي ما بقاش داك فريمون داك الحلم. اوروزمون الحاجه اللي كنت درت زوينه حتى في اليامات فاش كنا كندفعوا لي زيكول دفعت لكاع لي زيكول. ما كانش واخا كنت انا عندي فيزا على واحد الحاجه ولكن كنت كنقول صافي دفع لي كلشي وليت قبلت فيها انا مزيان. موراها دازو حتى لي زيكول لاخرين وكانت بالنسبه لي الانجينيري نو حيت باقا انجينير شي حاجه اللي مشكل بالنسبه ليا. دوزت لي زيكول لاخرين ما بغيتهمش. I was like no. قال لي فاش دير لي زوبسيون كنت دافع على كلاس بريباراتوار ولا تيست وبجوج تقبلت فيهم. كنا شنو كيختاروا ما بين لي كلاس بريبار ولا تيست. لي كلاس بريبار انا كنت لي تيست
علاش درت لي كاستير؟ حيت كنت هازه داك النهار باقا عاقله عليه مزيان، كنت هازه الدواسه ديالي في ليا، انا مشيت جلست معاهم في الكونفيرونس وعجبني داك الموفي ديالهم وداكشي، وكنت قاعد فوق داك السيد كيهضر لينا وكيقول لنا لي زيكول غتقراو وغديروا ومن بعد درت يا اوكي واي نوت ما مشيتش لي كلاس بريبا قريت صراحه الكاستير كانت هي داك ليليمون ديكلونشور اللي كان في حياتي تما كنت كنتعرف على راسي ديال بصح اللي كان زوين اي اكسبتد هذوك التشالنجز اللي جاو لي فيستي ما دوزتش فيها دوزت فيها 5 سنين هاد 5 سنين يلا خديت فيها لا ليسونس ديالي 5 سنين خديت فيها لا ليسونس واخا هكا دوزت صراحه احسن 5 سنين في حياتي كاينين الناس اللي كيجيو كيقولوا لنا واش كتغريتي شي حاجه في حياتك غنقول لكم جو ريغريت بزاف ديال الحاجات ولكن واش تقولوا لي تعاودتي شي نفس الحوايج اللي عشتي غنقول لكم واخا كنغريتيهم ولكن لا غادي نبغي نعاود نعيشهم نعاود ندوز من داك الصعوبات كاملين اللي دزت منهم حيت هما اللي خلاوني بحال هكا هما اللي خلاو عندي هاد الشخصيه ديالي فاش دخلت للبيسي كنا كنقراو عند قصه القرايه كانوا لي كلوب انا اي اكتيفيتي اي كلوب اي حاجه كانت I was like okay I'm gonna do it I'm gonna try it حيت اصلا الفكره الاولى بعد ما كنكونوش حنايا عارفين راسنا واش ديك الحاجه كنبغيوها ولا ما كنبغيوهاش حيت ماشي ديما كنعرفوا راسنا واش غادي نبغيو هذيك الحاجه واش غادي نبغيو نديروها دونك هذيك اللحظه I was trying everything اللي جا قدامي اول شهور بس كان كيعجبني التياتر وما كانش عندي opportunity باش انني ندير التياتر مشينا كرينا كتاب التياتر for the first time كنا كندربوا كنخدموا على البلايز إمتى كنا كندربوا ما بين 12 ونص و1 ونص يعني في ديك لابوز ديالنا كنا كنمشيو لواحد لاكلاس وكانوا معنا الدراري اللي ديجا كانوا كيديروا التياتر دوكو خدينا فريمون واحد في هذيك الساعات المكان كنا كنتربوا فيها بزاف وكنتي كتحس براسك انك كدير شي حوايج اللي فريمون كترتاح فيهم كتهرس فيهم هذيك القرايه دونك هادوك لي زاكتيفيتي اللي كيقولوا باغا سكولا they are really interesting من بعد دخلت لونتربرونيا هنايا في لونتربرونيا كانوا بزاف ديال التشالنجز أنا كانت واحد الصديقة اللي تلاقيت معها في المدرسة ماشي الأولى تلاقينا عند ديك الساعة درنا ان كلوب ديال لونتربرونيا من بعد درنا على البروجي ديالنا اللي was just an idea وفريمون واحد ليدي اللي آمنا بها بزاف خلينا الكلوب مشينا لساليم هو كان واحد وسيت ان بروغرام ديال لونتربرونيا اللي كنقراو فيه هادشي مشينا تما كانت اول مره غادي نتلاقى مع الناس وغادي نقدر نبريزونطي لهم شي حاجه هذا ابار داك البروجي ديال التيك اللي كنتي كتقرا الفرونسي ولا شي حاجه كتبغي تبريزونطي قدام البروف كانت اول مره كانت شي حاجه ديالي واللي انا قررت نمشي ناخذها بيديا ونوريها للناس ونبريزونطيها لهم. Le projet c'était simple, c'était واحد الكتاب صايبناه ديال الدراري الصغار دي فيكس لي جون كيقراو لونتربرونيا فيه دي جو فيه دي زيستوار اللي حنايا كنا كنكتبوهم مشينا فريمون مآمن بهاديك الفكره ما عندنا والو عندنا الفكره ديالنا وعندنا هذاك الفايت اللي كاين مشينا لعندهم بريزونطينا لهم البروجي تو من بعد عيطوا لينا قالوا لنا فوالا راكم تقبلتوا هاد حنايا ما كناش فريمون متيقين بلي راه داكشي فغي درناها غير كتجربه واخا راك كتبغي ديك الحاجه ولكن tu as vraiment foncé باش انك ديرها كتوصل لك بيبي مشينا بريزونطينا هنايا كيبدا داك المشوار ديالك كتحس براسك كتكبر النيتورك ديالك انا ما كنتش كنعرف حتى شنو هو النيتورك ديالي انا في طبعي اكستروفيرت شوي سوسيال كنهضر مع الناس وكلشي ولكن هذيك الفكره ديال لا خاصني نمشي ليزيفينمون علاش على قبل النيتوركين لا خاصني ندير هذا على قبل هذا داكشي بحال كنتي كتحس به بلي راه انستالي فيك باغ ديفو
باش انك كتمشي لشي بلاصه كتلقى فيها تبغي تجرب مثلا قرايه ما تمشيش ما غاديش تهضر ما غاديش تفونسي وهذا الشيء كامل هاد التشالنج مثلا اللي كان عندي اللي كانت فكره صغيره امنت بها باسكو كنا صحاب بينا كنا خدامين على داك البروجي ولكن باش انك كتمشي كتخصص ليها الوقت كتخصص ليها الانرجي كتعطيها بزاف الوقت كنا كنبريباريو داكشي ديالنا حتى من 12 جوج كانوا ديما عندنا لي ريونيون كتمشي توجد لي غولا براسك كتقاد هذوك البروسيس اللي كتخدم عليهم ديال لونتربرونيا بوحدك انا ساكنه ديجا في المحمديه ديكو كنت كندير لا نافيت من المحمديه لكازا باش كنا كنمشيو كنقراو في العشيات ولا شي حاجه لونتربرونيا باش كتوصل لنا عندهم دوزنا تما اكثر من 6 موا وفي الاخر خرج داك لو بروجي اللي قدرنا نامبريميوه قدرنا نبيعوه وفريمون كان واحد تشالنج اللي توا سكسي at the same time كنا منخرطين في واحد المجله ديال اليونيفرسيتي حسن دو وكرينا الماغازين ديال اليونيفرسيتي دونك في ديك لا كرياسيون ديال الماغازين ديال اليونيفرسيتي كيفاش جات الفكره ديال كفر راه محتاجين نديرو من اللباس ديال المحمديه واش تمشي فيها اوكي انا يا ليسونس عندي خاصني نوجد بي اف او جو سوي اون ستاج فول تايم ما كاينش فريمون ما كاينش الوقت دونك كتحاول تماناجي الوقت ديالك الا بغيتي واحد الحاجه كتشوف انت كتكون كوميتد ليها كتماناجي الوقت ديالك انت تو فونس وكتمشي لديك الحاجه مشينا قادينا داك الماغازان تلاقينا فيه مع دي بان مع الكتاب مع ناس ديال الصحفيين تعلمنا كيفاش كيدوز داكشي في الصحافه كيفاش كتشوفوا داك لو شومان دو فير اللي اصلا ما كنتش عارف واش الا اكزيست شي حاجه سميتها شومان دو فير دابا هاد الحوايج كتبقى كل مره كتجيك شي حاجه كتمشي فيها كتحس براسك انك ديك الساعه غتعرف كتحس براسك قادر انك تعطيها الوقت قادر تعطيها ديك الانرجي على حساب هذوك المهام الرئيسيه اللي عندك في حياتك في القرايه وكتمشي لديك الحاجه موراها كنحس براسي ديجا مازال I don't really I am a kind of person that wants to experience everything by everything I even want to experience something that مازال ما عنديش في دماغي يعني شي فكره اللي مازال ما عنديش في دماغي ما كتستحيل لي ونمشي نجربها غير باش نعرف واش مستحيل تعجبني ولا لا موراها بدات القصه ديالي مع البينتينغ ولازم من الهوايات المفضله اللي عندي هي الرسم من صغيره انا كنقول I'm not a good painter ما كنعرفش نرسم كاع مره شي بيزار كان على بالي الرسم هو هذاك تشد وتبقى تصور وتبقى تخطط ايتو ولكن من بعد I was like I wanna do that وكتحس براسك باللي راه you have that talent عندك داك الحس الفني ولكن you are not good شنو غادي نمشي ندير غنمشي غنشري كاميرا غنشري سباغه انا بغا ستارت بينتين المهم هو نبدا ديك الخطوه الاولى وكتبدا بشويه بشويه وبديت بالابستراكت and whenever I show my painting لصحابي والناس اللي كيشوفوا دوك البينتين كيعجبوهم بزاف I'm sorry if ما قدرتش نشارككم اليوم ولكن it was really a good experience and الفكره اللي كانت عندي ديجا باش انني دخلت وزعمت انني نديرها هي انني كنقول راه this is art this is something اللي غتكون مزياده ليا علاش why I'm gonna stress myself وانا كندير ديك الحاجه انا باغا نديرها عن حب علاش غنستريسي فيها انا غادي نديرها غادي نحاول معاها وغادي نشوفها كيف المخرجات وفان بالنسبه مثلا للبيت كيبقى انسان ارت يعني في كاع الحالات غتكون شي حاجه خاصه بك انت يعني فاش غادي يخرج لك داك الشكل ولا شي حاجه يعني غتكون بالنسبه لك انت راه شي حاجه راه خاصه كل مره كاينه واحد ديما كاينه ديك الفيرست تايم لاي حاجه يعني اي حاجه تخترعت اي حاجه دارت اي حاجه تقررت ديما عندها ديك المره الاولى ديالها and then I joined IWD ما عرفتش واش كتعرفوا شنو هو IWD what is IWD I think
كيديروا الاكسشينج ديال الناس يعني كيمشيو دار ليفين واحد الاكسبيرينس ابرود. كنت ديما باغا نمشي برا باغا نجرب لي زيكسبيريونس على برايت وفاش جاتني الاوبورتونيتي مع رايزك ما دخلت معاهم على اساس انني غير باغا نسافر ما دخلتش على قبل داكشي اللي كيديروا هما في رايزك اللي تبيت معاهم قلت لهم رايزك نتوما اللي كتسافروا اوكي هما اصلا قبل ما كتدخل معاهم يشتروا داك الموتيفيشن ستاف كيسحب ديالك باش كيدخلوا معاهم الناس كيديروا معاهم يقولوا داكشي صافي مشيت ابلايت تقبلوني كيدوزو لي زونتروتيان ديجا حيت عندهم دي تيرم في العام وكيلوحوا داك الفورم ديال ديك الابليكيشن ديالهم انا فاش بديت الابليكيشن كيسحب لي غير لي صافي بغيت ليهم ودخلت معاهم دوزت معاهم لي زونتروتيان من بعد لقيت واحد العالم جديد اللي ما كانش دايره في بالي كنسمع الليدرشيب على هذه كيفاش كتخدم and I really practice داكشي تما ومن الاسباب اللي خلاتني نجوين الايسك هو انني كنت باغا نتعلم الانجليزي. I was talking English ولكن I wasn't fluent ما كانش عندي حتى بالمهارة انني نترجمها كنفهمها ولكن ما كنتش كنقدر نهضر ديما كيقول لي راه باش نهضر انا كيف ندير شي حاجه دونك فاش دخلت لايسك اللي ليها كيما جات كيما كتهضر حيت اصلا كتحط في ديك السيتوياسيون وكتحط في داك الانفيرونمون ديالك كتبقى تسمع كلشي كيهضر بالانجليزي غير الا حطيتي راسك في هذاك الانفيرونمون راك مع الوقت غتولي دغيا كتعلم حيت بالنسبه لي انا بيرسونيلمون بلي مثلا في اللغات فاش كنتعلموهم هو سي لايف ستايل ماشي باش تمشي للسونتر باش تتعلم اللغه تسويع ولا شي حاجه حيت فاش تعلمنا حنايا العربيه اللغه في الاول حنا كبرنا فيها كنا في ذاك المحيط كنت زادينا في شي بلاصه غادي نتعلموا هذيك اللغه يعني حنا خاصنا مثلا نتحطوا في هذاك الانفيرونمون ونبقاو ديما كنسمعوا نكونوا مع ناس حتى هما كيهضروا بديك اللغه وبزاف ديال الحوايج يعني انت ديما كتهز راسك كتحط راسك في واحد الميليو اللي غادي يعاونك باش تحقق داكشي اللي انت بغيتي مثلا فاش بغيت ندير لونتربرونيا اول سنه واحد بيبول اللي كانوا دي زونتربرونور وفعلا لقيت راسي انني كبرت في النيتوركين ديالي بلا ما نحس تلاقيت مع لي زونتربرونور ناس عندهم دي سوسيتي كبار دي بروف ناس في الكوميرس كل اكسبيرينس عشتها استفدت منها حاجه and I still have contact with هاد الناس هادشي كامل اللي كنعاود لكم كيبان لكم بلي راه ساهل انا مشيت ولدت ودخلت لايفي مشيت ولدت ودرت لونتربرونيا but it was not اول ديفي كان عندي واللي كان عندي من صغري هو الدابا ما كانش يخدم الانسان I was like that kind of person اللي من المدرسه وطلعت نهضر المدرسه من صحابي اللي كانوا خارجين اصلا I can't go معاهم ما نقدرش نخرج معاهم كان شي حاجه اللي ما يمكنش نتناقش لدرجه انني من بعد فاش كيشوفوني صحابي خارجه كيقولوا لي ما يمكنش كي درتي ليها واش انتي تسافري بوحدك واش انتي طلعتي لداك الجبل واش انتي هبطتي وما يمكنش خلينا في الدار لدرجه they're still shocked دابا صافي ديزاين ومازال ما متيقنش هذيك الفكره ولكن it was a big and hard challenge for me حيت فريمون عشت بزاف د الحوايج اللي خلاو داكشي يتبدل ولكن بالمثابره انني مثلا بغيت هاد الحاجه بغيت مثلا انني نسافر my dream ديالو is to travel وهي علاش درت الانجينيوري في الاخر على قبل باش نسافر قريت دوزت لي بيسي خديت لا ليسونس في الفيزيك انا واحد الانسان ما نكتبش مع الفيزيك والانفورماتيك اون جينيرال بور موا سيتي واحد اكس كبير لدرجه انني في العام الاول ديالي فاش دخلت ليفرسيتي كنا كنقراو داك البروغرام ستيل وكنت كنلقى الدراري معايا فاش كيديروا البروغراماسيون ديجا افونسين كيعرفوا البروغراماسيون كيعرفوا شنو هو سي كيعرفوا شنو هو لونغاج كيكوديو مزيان وانا باغا كنقول لهم شنو هو هذا شنو هو زيرو شنو هو واحد حيت بالنسبه لي اصلا داكشي إنكزيست با بور مو في داك العالم اللي كنت عايشه فيه قبل ما نانتيغري لا فاك سو ما كنتش دايرها في بالي كنت كنفكر سوا ندير فيزيك سوا شي حاجه بحال هكا اللي اي فيل سيف فيها وانني كنعرفها مزيان مع الوقت كملت قرايه خديت ليسونس باش خديتها خديتها في الفيزيك دوزت عام ديال لا ليسونس في الفيزيك وقريت نيتي وكنت كنسهر الليالي الطوال مع دوك المعادلات الفيزيك
المشروع ديال نجاح وتخدم وأنا ما عارفاش منين جات وأين درجة جاية كنحمق راسي ونعاود ونكمل علاش بغيت الفيزيك ولكن فاش خديت لا ليسونس وبديت فكرت مع راسي قلت اوكي انا نحب الفيزيك واش انا بصح غادي نكمل في الفيزيك واش كيعجبني الفيزيك انا علاش درت الفيزيك درت على قبل لاسترونومي باسكو انا شوي بيرسون مستوى كيعجبني لاسترونومي بزاف مي في الكارير فكرت كنقول انا الا خديت مثلا لاسترونومي غادي نبقى في لافو وغادي خصني نقرا على برا ونكمل قرايتي تما وغادي تبقى كله ريسيرش and then قلت خاصني انا باغا نسافر ما كتخصنيش شي خدمه اللي نخدم فيها الوليدات نقدر نسافر وفين ما قلت اش شنو غادي ندير علاش ندير لانجينيور انفورماتيك باسكو ديما تبقى عندي ديك الفكره ديال شنو هي انجينيور انفورماتيك كتدرسي وكدور وفين ما مشيتي تقدر تخدم مرة دخلت قريت انجينيور انفورماتيك العام الاول كان هو التخوازيام اني ديالي باسكو دخلت في الداك ديال اللي كان عندي في الماستر هذاك التخوازيام اني داز عندي كارثه كان عندي بحال محاربه الامنيه في الانفورماتيك كنت يلاه كنشوف شنو هو الاتش تي ام ال هما ديجا كراو اش كيديروا شنو هي الفاليز شنو هو هذا كيبان لي داكشي العيب مشكل قلت ماشي مشكل المهم غتخدم غتصافر اصبري قريت العام الاول علاش بديت كنفهم كنقول انا حتى كندوز الامتحان وكندير وكنمسح علاش كنفهم الدرس كنقول اوكي هكا كيديروا لها و جو سوي اون بيرسون اللي كتخدم باللوجيك بزاف يعني ماشي شي وحده اللي خاصني نفهم منين جات هاد الحاله خاصني نعرفها منين جات عاد باش نقدر ندير يعني بقيت خدامه بحال هكا كيقول لي لا هادي راك تقولها بحال هكا حفظيها واش هادشي كيتحفظ نو اند ذن وليت خدمت بالميثود ديالي اننا نفهم الكود وكتاناليزي راسك كتخرج دي ميثود ديالك بهذوك البيزكس بحال كيولي عندك الكود وداكشي بحال شي لغه وانت اللي كتكسبريميها كيف ما بغيتي باللوجيك ديالك هاد اللي لايلاطي ديك الساعه عجبتني فريمون لانفورماتيك بزاف باش كنحس براسي كندير شي حاجه اللي انا كنبغيها وكنكمل فيها وراها واش بقات احنا ما سخيتش بيه ولكن please 5 minutes if that's possible thank you okay after that مرة I'm sorry for interrupting okay مرة الانفورماتيك كملت دوك لي 3 ans ما كنتش عارفه شنو غادي ندير في البيت باسكو بحال فيها بزاف ديال التخصصات it was hard for me and I was like ما تبقاش تفكر بزاف فاش غادي نوصل بالوقت غادي تعرفي شنو غادي ديري غتلقاي داكشي اللي فريمون كتبغي داكشي اللي فريمون باغا دير غير كمل في هاد البلان ماشي كامل باش في الاخر مازال نسافر في الاخر من وين غادي بديت كنسافر شويه بعد محاولات وعناء ديال سنوات باش انك تقنع شي حد اللي was impossible for them to travel like إلا بغيتي تسافري خاصك تسافري مع راجلك ما كاينش شي حاجه سميتها تسافري بوحدك so it was a huge challenge for me personally to travel and I did it I made it and I'm really proud of it مورا الانجينيوري قريت كملت وصلت للسينكيام اني ديالي and ديك الساعه باش عرفت راسي شنو كنت كنقرا في العامين فهمت حطيت كل حاجه في بلاصه باسكو سينكيام اني عاد باش كيبقى الامور بالنسبه للانسان عاد باش كيتجمعوا فريمون هادوك لي موديل دونك كان عندي جوج الحوايج اللي رئيسيين غادي نديرهم عرفت راسي انني غنديرهم غادي هاكو كنديرهم بارامون امور سي كو سوا غادي ندير شي حاجه اللي فيها بيج داتا ولا غادي ندير شي حاجه اللي فيها سيلز فورس لي سي ار ام ايتو غير باش نكمل من بعد في الفونكسيونيل بيكوز لقيت راسي بلي انا مرتاحه اكثر انني نفهم البوزوان نفهم هذاك لو ميتي بحداتو ونكمل فيه هي موراها درت سيلز فورس and now I'm a Salesforce consultant. دوزت دابا عندي more than 1 year ديال experience as a Salesforce consultant. وهاد Salesforce اصلا ما درتها حتى خلي الله يدوم حيت اصلا في الاول ما كانتش معروفه. فاش ما كانتش معروفه كانوا لي زوق كانوا قلال بزاف، وانايا حيت بديتها كونك ستاج باش غادي نبدا ستاج كان عندي واحد البريشر بزاف ديال انني ما لقيتش فيها ستاج، بقيت كنتسنى يعني بحال بقات ليا غير سيمانه وحده باش الناس غادي يدخلوا كلهم باش غيوصل داك لو بروميير مارس باش ندوزو لي ستاج ديالنا ديال بي اف ار، وكلشي كيعيط ليا كتطلب لي بلي ديري البي اش بي ديري هذا ديري جافا واز لايك نو ما ممكنش ليا ندوز حياتي بشي حاجه اللي ما باغاهاش، يعني غندوز مثلا ديك 6 شهور ابراد ندوزها في لا وفي المدرسه من بعد نبدا الكارير يعني نرجع ندير ميديسين من الاول ما غاديش نكمل بشي حاجه اللي I'm not really into it. So this was هذه كانت ستوري ديالي and I hope that سيفتو شي حاجه.
Thank you so much, Kota. I think Tushiki had not only which is getting involved in extracurricular activities. Yes, and I really love the fact that you mentioned that. Try to get involved in as many extracurriculars as possible because they're life changing, right?
Exactly. هما اللي كيبنيو الشخصيه ديال الواحد بزاف.
Yes. كاين داكشي اللي كتعلم في المدرسه.
جامي داكشي باش كنقول لهم مثلا شي واحد كيقول لي واش كنتي علاش كنقول لهم نون جامي باسكو ديما كاين شي حاجه اللي نيو اللي كتعلمها كل نهار وفاش تجيك شي اوبورتونيتي جرب عطيك هذيك الفكره عطيك هذيك الفرصه وسير ديرها ما تبقاش ديما خايف تقول لا يمكن ما عنديش وقت.
And also just related to topic extracurriculars is so challenging. كيعلموك انك تجري ستريس ديالك تجري تايم ديالك and once you start like involved in extracurricular activities such projects كيوليو كيبانو لك challenges ديال القرايه ديال الدراسه صغار بزاف وباراليل مع the challenges that you face there. So yeah, thank you so much for your story.
Guys, do you have questions?
Actually, we're going to leave the questions for the networking session. Questions ديال السيسيون ديالي انا ديال كوتا وحتى ديال like the next session we're going to leave it for the networking. ملي نخرجوا then you can actually ask whatever you want, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move to the next session. We're going to welcome our guest, Ms. Wissal, who is actually an adventure soul, who is also one of the Makers member, and who is a cybersecurity consultant. I'm very excited to actually see her again. She's also a member of these videos. So we're just gonna wait a little bit for her. And okay, good. Okay, I have to try to do something until she comes. Okay, so the floor is yours. You have fun already.
It's my first time on stage, so I'm a little bit stressed with that. Thank you. أيضا كنت كامل ما كانش تخرجوا من الكلام حيت غنديروا واحد لاكتيفيتي أولا I need to get rid of this stress ديال الخربة and I need to boost your energy and هنايا اليوم International Women's Day so we need to celebrate it. So can you guess activity? So can you guess the activity? Can you guess the activity? We are going to First of all, I'm a human being. I'm a bodybuilder. This is not me. I'm a basketballer. I'm a white traveler hiker. I'm a UG. I like to hug trees. I was a mentor at TC Girls in 2022. I was the team leader of Team Kinisra. And I'm a cybersecurity guy. So yeah, صراحة الطوب باش بغيت نوجدو كان هاد الشيء اللي ماما غنديرو شكون ما كيعرفش كيكس بلا ما كتعرفهاش خصك تعرفها I'm sorry for talking in Arabic. So أول مرة درتو في الكونفرنس ديال بلاطو سو كان الكونسيبت ديالي تقدر ديالي تشوفنا مغاربة ليتو و سو باش نبدا باش ندير واحد السؤال اللي غنسولكم يعني علاش الماجوريتي د المغاربة ما كيفهموش anything like كتبغي تجرب شي حاجة ولا دير شي حاجة جديدة ما كتفهمش.
I think it's society pressure. Like, بلاد ما كيزعمكش باسكو ما تكونش اونطوري بواحد لونطوراج زعما اللي سبورتيف بنادم كيبقى كيبروجيكت عليك الفيرز ديالو والفيليرز ديالو يعني ملي كتبغي تدخل شي ستيب like they try to project their fears and their failures on you just to stop you. I think society pressure is the most influencing thing, like the factor that controls that the most.
That's right.
The word show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Justement, quand ils avaient un poste, nous sommes allés parce que nous aider,
Nice.
Okay, I'm just gonna, okay, you can stay. What's that?
Oh, je suis fine.
Okay. كنت كنفكر واش نبدا بالكلام. I think as Moroccans, ماشي as Moroccans ولكن as humans we are hardwired to fear. حيتاش كاين بزاف ديال المخاطر في العالم خصنا نتجنبهم وكنخافوا حتى من المجهود اننا نديروه واننا ما نطفروش بهذاك المجهود وكان ممكن اننا نديبلويو هذاك المجهود في بلاصه اخرى. So we tend to find all sorts of reasons باش اننا نكونفورتيو ريوسنا whatever we blame it on في الاخر كيبقى البليم على ريوسنا حنا اللي كنخليو هذاك الشيء يكون. Thank you.
تيكالي بالنسبه للمشكل ديال علاش ما كنزعموش هي العلاقه بالتربيه. التربيه ديال المغاربه اغلبيه تيتربوا على اساس انه اللي ما قدرتش دير ما ديرش. يعني الاباء ديالنا ولا الناس اللي كانوا قبل في التربيه ما كيزعموناش اننا نقوموا بشي افعال اللي فيها مسؤوليه. هادشي هو اللي تيخلينا كنتراجعوا ومن بعد ملي كيشوفنا من بعد راه كيزعم كلشي.
Yes. Je pense que ma qui moi je suis كنت بدري مازال نبي excusez-moi ولا ضربوا بالنقص. صافي la majorité des gens qui font des choses qui sont mauvaises, la plupart des gens qui font la perfection. يعني إذا كانت هذيك الحاجة غادي تكون واو شي حاجة اللي غتكون ناقصة كيقولوا لا رجع الله ولا من جمهور. وأوسي كنخافوا أننا نفشلوا، كنخافوا أصلا الحوايج اللي يقدروا يفشلونا تأمباكتنا ديالنا.
متفقة معكم كاملين. أنا الصراحة كنت بغيت نجاوب على هاد الكيسيون نقول لكم واحد القصة صغيرة. المهم في الكونتكست ديال الكيكس بلا بلا حيت شداني جايتي وأنا كيعجبوني الكوز، دونك فكرت علاش ما نديرش أمثال مغربية في هاد السونس ديال الزعامة. مي ماشي مالوزمون مي علاش كنت كنلقى تقد كيواتيك ما تعلقش متفلق على قد الحاكم برجليك. دونك استنتجت كما قال الدري بلي في الثقافه ديالنا المغربيه وفي التربيه ديالنا مربين على اننا نخافوا من الزعامه ومن اننا نجرب شي حاجه ولا نتبعوا واحد الباب اللي ما فايتش سوا والدينا ولا خوتنا اللي كبر منا ولا شي واحد اللي كنعرفوه فايت له مشى في ذاك الباب. خصنا نمشيو في شي باب ديجا مطراسي ما نطراسيوش في الباب ديالنا. ما الحمد لله لقيت واحد المثل اللي عتقني اللي تيقول لك الضربه اللي ما تقتلك تخوي. دونك او بيغ دي كا دونك مازال عايش راك تعلمتي شي حاجه راه تزادت لك شي حاجه راه غادي تولي اقوى من اللي كنتي قبل. كاين الزعامه وكذا هادشي كامل. قبل ما نكملو خصنا نعرفو شنو كنقصدو بالزعامه. الزعامه انا شنو كنقصد بالزعامه هو انك ديك لا زون دو كونفور ديالك توسعها شويه ودير دي زيكسبيريونس اللي ما ولكش ديرهم تجرب حوايج جداد. فوالا توسع ديك لا زون دو كونفور ديالك ما تبقاش تخرج من ديك لا زون اللي انت ديما فيها غير مرتاح ما كاينش ستريس ما كاينش انكسيتي ايتترا. وبالنسبه لي هذا هو الحاجه الطبيعيه اللي خصها تكون في الانسان لحقاش كون كان ملي تختار الانسان وبقى زعما في ديك لا زون دو كونفور ديالو ما كناش غادي نوصلوا لهاد لا تكنولوجي يبقى ياكل وينعس وصافي وباقيين عايشين في العصر الحجري. دونك لحقاش كما كيقول المثل هاد الكوت كتقول chicks are safe in the harbor but the range chicks was made for. من البواخر راهم سيف في الميناء ولكن هما ما تختاروش باش انهم يبقاو في الميناء ما تختاروا باش يمشيو للبحر ويواجهوا الموج وداكشي كامل. بغيت نقول لكم اول حاجه هي stop saying I can't do this but at least try it. Give it a try. I promise you ان الاوتكم of trying غادي تستافدوا هما اللي غادي نقولهم لكم من بعد. But first قولوا لي بغيتكم تحطوا في بالكم شي حاجه you want to try مازال ما ترايتوهاش وتخيلوا الاوتكمز اللي يقدروا يطراو الا زعمتي وجربتي ديك الحاجه. مثلا جو بونس حنايا كاملين في التاك اتسيتيرا انت بغيتي تتعلم شي تكنولوجي جديده ولا بغيتي تدخل على شي بروجي ولا بغيتي تشارك في شي كومبيتيسيون ولا شي حاجه او بغيتي تجرب شي اكتيفيتي جديده ولا شي حاجه. اوكي شنو الاوتكمز اللي يقدروا يطراو اذا جربتي؟ اوكي باش ما نطولوش بزاف الاوتكمز قسمتهم لدو بارتي الاولى اللي بوزيتيف والثانيه اللي بوزيتيف بريم بوزيتيف وبجوجهم قسمتهم لدو بارتي اللي غادي نشوفوهم اون ديتاي. نبداو بوزيتيف مثلا بغيتي تجرب شي حاجه ولا بغيتي تخدم على حاجه احسن سيناريو يقدر يطلع هو يمكن ارايف لداك الاوبجيكتيف اللي بغيتي دير. مثلا نعطي اكزومبل شي واحد اللي بغى يجرب سكيت بوردين كلشي راه كيعرف سكيت بوردين شي واحد شاف سكيت بوردين صغير وبغى يجرب زعما احسن سيناريو يقدر يطلع هو يمكن فوق ديك البورد ويمشي هو شاد ليكيليب طرونكي. اوكي ثاني سيناريو يقدر يطلع هو يكسيد هذوك الاوبجيكتيف ديالو يعني ماشي غير غادي تركب فوق ديك السكيت بورد وتمشي مع قد دير ديمارا مثلا فوق ليك فليب ولا مثلا الا مشيتي في ليسونس ديال اللونغ بوردين تبقى تهبط في الهباط الصعاب اكسيتيرا داكشي ندوزو البوزيتيف تري واخا ما توصلش للوبجيكتيف ديالو راه في الباك ديالو انت غادي كتخدم باش توصل لهذيك الحاجه اللي بغيتي توصل ليها راه يو جين اكسبيرينس غتعلم الا ما تعلمتيش كثير غادي تتعلم قليل. نعطي اكزومبل ملي تبقاو في سكيت بوردين الا شي واحد بغى يتعلم سكيت بوردين اول حاجه شنو يقدر يدير هو خاصو بعدا سكيت بورد خاصو يعرف كيفاش يجرب. اول حاجه اللي يقدر يمشي يدير شنو هما الانواع ديال السكيت بورد اكسترا يشوف شي واحد اللي مثلا كيعرف السكيت بوردين باي ذا واي اللي بغيت يتعلم السكيت بوردين راه يقدر يكونتاكتيني مثلا يقلب فوالا ديك لو فيت ديال غادي تمشي تشوف واحد كيعرف السكيت بوردين اش تبقى تهضر معاه داكشي انت دخلتي في النيتوركين تقدروا تمشيو بيان دار ما تكونوش كتعرفوا ما يسمعكمش غير سكيت بوردين يسمعكم حاجه اخرى. مثلا تبقى تقلب على التايمز ديال السكيت بوردين انت تفتي تقدر تبان لك السكيت بوردين انا كتعرف بزاف د الحوايج حاجه اللي بسيطه ما تقدر تبروجتي هادشي على اي حاجه انت بغيتي تتعلمها ولا بغيتي تفهم عليها دونك راه غادي تتعلم غادي تتعلم. The last thing هي you might find other paths يعني في لو شومان انت كتعلم هذاك الحاجه ولا باغي توصل لواحد الحاجه راه غادي يبانوا لك طرقان اخرين يقدروا ياتيريوك اكثر ويعجبوك اكثر. مثلا في ليسونس ديال سكيت بوردين عرفتي صافي غنسكت بوردين سكيت بوردين عنده دو برانسيب انا بالنسبه لي كيجيني هو الفات ديال كتبقى فوق البورد وكتشدي كيليب وداكشي وداك البلان ديال كتبقى تزلاق وكذا فاني دونك جاني قريب من جوج حوايج داك الفات ديال كتشد ليكيليب وتكونترولي البادي ديالك وتكونيكتا معاه مزيان جاني قريب من اليوغا دونك يقدر شي واحد يعجبو داك البلان ديال تشد ليكيليب اكسيتيرا ويمشي في هاد لو سونس. كاين سونس اخر ديال السكيت بوردين كتبقى تزلاق وكذا مي في الاول ضروري غادي تطيح غادي تكتب الحوايج تجرح داكشي كامل شي واحد بغا يزلق ويقول ما بغاش تقطع لي الحوايج ويزلق كاين السيرف حتى هو كتزلق مي ماشي 100% بحال السكيت بوردين ولكن قريب ليه. المهم الا طحتي في الماء غادي تشرب شويه الماء ولا شي حاجه صافي ماشي مشكل ماشي بحال السكيت بوردين. that's it. وهاد لي بلوك اوتكمز تقدروا تطبقوهم على اي حاجه بغيتي. وإلا كنتي خايف انك حيت حنايا بالنسبه لينا بغيتي توصل لواحد الحاجه الا وصلتي ليها راك نجحتي سينو راك افيلير وماشي نوت. الا كنت انا بالنسبه ليا عرفت كاين داك اللي فيلير ولكن بالنسبه ليا زعما ما تخافش انك تكون فيلير، بس تخاف انك تضيع لي شونس اللي تخاف انك تضيع لي شونس اللي جاو. وفريمون زعما انا كنت واحد الرجوع على الاكسبيريونس سي فريمون باش تتزعم غير حياتك كتبدل. و سي بون بلاتي قبل من هاد some reasons to زعم شويه موتيفاسيون. اولا غادي learn new experience، كتولي عندك الكونفيدنس كثر، كتكتشف راسك فريمون. انا بيرسونيلمون شحال من حاجه زعمت عليها وكنت قبل تنقول امبوسيبل ندير واحد الحاجه هذيك الحاجه، ملي مشيت نجرب كنصدم في راسي كنقول واو انا ما عمري كنت كنتوقع انني ندير ديك الحاجه. وكيتشد قدام new opportunities and yeah زعما بغيت نقول لكم عندكم واحد لو رجوع ان اكسبيريونس على حياتي انايا كي كانت قبل ما نزعم. كانت بحال الا ما كنتش كنقرا راني كناكل ولا نعس وحده في هاد ثلاثه كان سو بورين. واحد النهار زعمت هي تولي بحال بديت بوكي هي ماي هوبي وموراها يوغا صافي باركور. المهم اللي جات ولات بسم الله متفكرتش واش مرات كي جا كانت زدت زعمت شويه زادو شويه دخلت ديجي جيرلز طلعت نتوقع سافرت بوحدي زدت شويه عاوتاني جربت بابا كونت. المهم بزاف د الحوايج اللي نتوما كاينين تما. دونك جيت صراحه نقول لكم انه عيشوا الحياه، حيت الساعه القرايه ولا الخدمه راه مهمه باش توفر لنا ديك الحياه اللي حنايا باغيين والاولويات والكماليات وداكشي كامل. ولكن we work to live or not the opposite. We don't live to work. We work to live. يعني ديك بالنسبه لي انا لا ما يبغي يعرفوا شي ولا شي تخفور ولا شي كاسيون. بالنسبه لي انا الخدمه راه وسيله وصافي، اما الحياه راه دايره على شي حوايج اللي عادي ديال الخدمه ونقدروا كاع ما نمشيوش لحوايج كبار تسافر ولا دير شي حوايج اللي واعرين بزاف. مي غير حوايج لي ديتاي بساطين اللي كنساوهم بعض المرات، اللي مثلا غير ديك the morning coffee ولا تي ولا ديك الجلسه مع فامي، ديك تسمع زغرده العصافير في الصباح ولا شي حاجه بحال هكا. شي حوايج اللي بساطين حنايا كنضيعو كنساوهم. غير الفات ديال انك تشوف تسمع تقدر تكتب تقدر تقرا تقدر تفكر راه ماشي كلشي عنده هذا البلان طويل بزاف اللي خصنا نستمتعو. فوالا زعما بغيت نقول لكم عيشوا الحياه سورتو في هاد لاج هذا. راه حنا في الطوب ديال الانرجي ديالنا، غتبقى تسنى ما تكونوش دايرين بيكم اللي تيقول تنتخرج عاد غادي نولي هابي وندير باش تيتخرج تيخدم تيقول بلاتي تنتزوج ولا ندير كارير مزيانه عاد نبدا ندير لي زاكتيفيتي شويه تيتزوج تيقول بلاتي تنكبر الاولاد وتيبقى دائما تيوصل واحد النهار كيلقى عنده 62 عام ما نعرف شنو الهارد واعيه صافي ما يقدرش يطلع بشي زبل يدير شي حاجه اللي هو صافي تيكبر صافي تنموت وتهنى من هاد الحياه كامله. دونك ما تبقاوش ديما تبوستبونيو الهابينس، بس الهابينس راه زعما تقدر تنجوي شي حوايج اللي صغارين اللي بساطين وفيما تجي الفرصه ديال شي حاجه جربها. وراه اون باغي مع الخدمه مع القرايه راه يمكن كما درت انا ودابا بزاف الناس اللي كنعرف يمكن. And yeah, if you have any questions ولا remarks.
Applause him again. I'm so damn proud of you. I'm so proud of you. We have to have you here. I'm so proud to see such strong women who are representing many sports and representing many activities at the same time. فاش كيدير دي زاكتيفيتي ويكون منخرط في الحوايج صحابي اللي راه تالف وما عرفش شنو باغي يدير. But that journalism actually that multitasking is itself a strength. ماشي أي واحد يقدر يعمل بزاف د الحوايج، ماشي أي واحد يقدر يهرب من lot of tasks at the same time، ماشي أي واحد عنده لي باسيون بزاف د الحوايج. But the fact that you have a lot of passions is such a gift. The fact that you're having كتعيشوا بزاف د الحوايج at the same time is such a strength and it's something you should be really like proud of, you know? Yeah, you should be. So thank you so much for this speech. I'm just gonna give you a few gifts. هادشي اللي ما كيساويش هادشي اللي قلتي لينا.
Just
Exactly. Okay. Perfect. Yes. Okay, wait, let me just give you this again. You already have one? Okay, I just want to add like another thing to what she said. Actually, فاش كتفكر دير شي حاجه كتقول واش ندير الحاجه ولا روحي غادي ندير غادي ندير ملي درت هاد البلان ولا there's something that I just like included from my life experiences وخا سيريا دابا ديال انك ما ديرش ديك الحاجه it's way bigger, like it's way harder. So yeah, we're just gonna move to the game, right? We're going to move to this game and I'm just going to give it more to Penny. I hope you enjoy it though.
Baby.